Hey everybody, welcome back for another video. Today we're going to be talking about Jehovah versus the Star Cities. And this is going to be really interesting because thanks to one of my patrons, they alerted me to a video that I should watch, and it talks about this phenomenon of the name Jehovah showing up on some of these older coins from the 15 and 1600s primarily. So I wanted to give my take on it, and I'll leave a link in the description to this video that talks about this phenomenon as well. So let's get into it. Now, there is this four-letter word in Hebrew which shows up on a lot of coins from the 1600s, and it's referred to as the tetragrammaton, which is just the word used to refer to the four-letter word in Hebrew that is the name for God used in the Hebrew Bible. Okay, fair enough. And this is a coin from Denmark, 1645. And this usage of this four-letter combination, it appears exactly 5,410 times in the Tanakh, or the Old Testament. And the letters are read from right to left. Just FYI. Now here's a coin from Sweden. Sweden's first gold coin minted in 1568, but this name is usually in the clouds. But the dates, usually it's an I or a J followed by the rest of the numbers. There's also more coins that feature this name. This is a coin from I-592, 1592 in Scotland. And once again, this name. Now, where things get interesting is that they've transliterated this name to these four letters, YHWH or JHVH, and have attempted to sort of fill in the blanks because it's actually unclear what the original pronunciation of this Hebrew word was due to the long-standing Jewish prohibition on speaking God's name aloud, and there are no vowels in the Hebrew alphabet. So there's a lot of controversy about really both of these names, and that some of the controversy speculates that the name, for instance, Jehovah, might actually be referring to one of these pagan gods, lowercase gods. Now again, that's just the speculation, and I'm just alerting you to it because it ties into what we're going to talk about later in the video. So I just wanted to mention that. Now, there's been books talking about the use of Jehovah on coins and metals, tokens, and jetons. This is just one of them, the use of God's name, and a couple of examples showing the name Jehovah on some of these older coins. And just the name Jehovah was used by kings and queens as well. This is the official royal motto of King Charles IX of Sweden, and I believe this Latin phrase just means Jehovah is my solace. A lot of royalty were using that name as well, and I believe that same King Charles IX, he even established the Royal Order of Jehovah. So really inspired by this name in particular. And this name also appears on some of the armor for Charles IX's son. So it's depicted prominently on a lot of objects, including these coins. Now, I wanted to get back to these coins because some of them depict some really interesting scenes, and this is a coin from 1634. And when you look at what's on the reverse of this coin, it almost seems like whatever's in the background, whatever city this is being destroyed actually. And again, you have the four-letter name up here and rays emanating in what I believe is lightning and maybe wind and rain and maybe some type of a wave. That's how it sort of looks to me. But here's the name Jehovah with an I up here, and I wanted to find a clearer example of this coin. And here you can see the lightning, you can see the wind, what looks like rain, and this looks like a body of water to me, and this looks like that water being manipulated and potentially affecting the city behind it. Now, when you go back to that coin and you read the description of the reverse, it says a palm tree in storm town in the background. Now, to me, that does not look like a palm tree or any type of tree. So I found that very interesting. And I think this coin was minted in this German city, but I just wanted to mention, like a lot of these cities during, especially in the 1600s, there were these star cities, and I've talked about these star cities. A lot of them appear to have been buried at one point. So I find that this scene really interesting because it seems to be depicting an act of destruction, and you have this name up in the clouds, up in the sky. So I wanted to look for some more of these coins, but here's just another representation of that same scene. This is just another one from 1637 featuring the same scene. And you have this medal from 1588 commemorating the defeat of the Spanish Armada. Again, the four-letter name depicted in the clouds with the emanations in a description reference to Jehovah, and apparently the legend translates to "he blew and they were scattered." Again, it could all be allegorical, of course, but there's these depictions which seem to indicate there's actual influence, and this name's in the clouds. So where things really take a turn, there's another coin from the city of Hamburg in Germany, and again you have the name, this four-letter name in the clouds with the emanations. Fair enough, and you have a star city in the background. But if you go back, you'll find another coin which shows something in the clouds that also has that four-letter name, and here's that four-letter name. Within the clouds you're seeing what looks like a ship, but we're told that it's a shield, and it looks like it's being held up by these two arms. Yeah, just really interesting choice to have something that looks like a ship within these clouds. It's got the four letters, and if we go back again, very similar scene with the four-letter name and within the clouds. Here you can kind of see what's in the clouds. Just wanted to point that out because that is just so unusual, because this is basically a meme, you know, a ship hiding in clouds, basically. Like, that's a meme at this point, but it's showing up on these coins from the 1600s. So I just really wanted to point that out and share that with you guys, and there's a link in the description to the video that I saw talking about this as well. But just a really unique phenomenon and very interesting stuff. And my interest with a lot of this is because, as I talked about a bit earlier, these star cities, a lot of them at some point, I believe they were buried. And this is Antwerp, a scene from Antwerp, these massive walls being unearthed from the 16th century, we're told. But here's what Antwerp looked like, which is in Belgium in the 1500s. And also I talk about this city in the Netherlands, another star city, Groningen, and during excavations they found remnants of artifacts and structures that were partially buried once again. And what gets built after are these more neoclassical looking buildings. And what you'll find on a lot of different areas in Europe and all throughout the world is that you'll see that eventually there's some great fire or some battle that destroyed the area, and then you get a lot of the neoclassical buildings, what people are calling the Tartarian looking buildings. So to add this element of something in the sky that is actually manipulating some of these events, I find that very interesting. And also having these scenes where there are battles and things being affected by this whatever is in the clouds in the sky. So I just wanted to point that out. I thought it was really interesting. And it turns out this phenomenon of using this sacred name on these coins, by the early 1700s, it was used way less often and eventually disappeared from dies and stamps altogether. And I just wanted to hit on one more coin from the city of Nuremberg, and this is from the 1680s. But again, not the clearest picture, but this name up in the clouds, just sitting above the city. And why I find that interesting is because there is the famous story at this point of this celestial phenomenon over Nuremberg in 1561. And I normally never gave that much credence or thought, but just looking into some of these older coins and what may be an actual object in the clouds actually, and some of these destructive scenes on some of these coins, it kind of makes me look at this a bit differently. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say at this time. There may be a part 2 coming out in the future. Just really interesting stuff, and I just wanted to share some of this with you guys. So I think that's about it. I did want to give a big shout out to my channel members. Thank you for all your help and support. Greatly appreciated, as well as my patrons. Really appreciate all that you do and all of your support as well. So thank you very much. So with that being said, until next time, take care. Bye.